Yeah, I'm audible, I think, right?
Yes, sir, you're audible, yeah.
Yes, doctor. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Can you share the screen now?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, it's visible, yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. So, can you see the second slide,
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
third
Yeah.
slide?
We're able to see, yeah.
Okay, fine then. So, we'll start at 11, right?
Yes, sir, in another 5 more minutes.
It's okay, fine. You can wait.
Yeah.
Join.
Members are there. Okay. Screen to me.
Actually, one of our faculty members joined from Bokaraju to JSS Mysore 3 years back.
Oh.
He also did PhD with me in medicinal chemistry.
Sir,
Dr. Durai Anandakumar.
oh, Durai. This is the chemistry.
Okay.
Yeah. He worked there for almost, I think, more than 12 years.
It's 9 years, but he's not getting it.
Okay.
Yeah. Another 2-3 minutes, sir. Our principal said that he would be joining in another 2-3
Yeah,
minutes.
it's okay. Yeah. It's like 11 o'clock.
So, how is the institution going on, sir, there? How is your research work?
Yeah, it's going on fine actually. So it's okay. I mean, because I was working in some new techniques. So, I mean, it was like learning. It was like protein express because I am from a medicinal chemistry background.
Okay.
So here it is my institute is exclusively natural product institute. It is so I was learning the techniques of protein expression and then proteomics, further inhibition studies. So those were something new for me, and so it took a bit of time, but it's now online.
How do you find the difference between your earlier institutes and this institute?
Of course, actually, this is a research institute.
Okay.
And, it's not a university.
Yeah, you have all the facilities under one roof, like.
Yeah, everything we have under one roof. We have NMR, mass, HPLC, FPLC is also there. And whatever you want, we have 10, 10. So sequencing, gene sequencing, everything is
You can meet you.
So here I missed the teaching part here because it's not a university.
Teaching, you can compensate by involving many more webinars like this.
Yeah, that's what I give usually.
Today we have.
Shall I mute myself or?
No, sir, no problem.
Today the control given to Jaykumar sir. Yeah, controls.
That's why, sir.
No, today.
అన్మ్యూట్ చేస్తారా? మ్యూట్ చేయండి.
Mute all.
Current and new participants. Yes, yes.
Sir, I think unmute themselves. No, they can unmute, sir.
और जिसको मसाला
Send message.
Mute all.
From our only disturbance, I think.
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ
First Jaikumar the meet ಮಾಡು.
ಮ್ಯೂಟ್
Mute ಮಾಡು.
Shall I start or?
Will go.
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, sir. Very good morning to you all.
No, it's gone. Yeah, no, it's okay, sir. Yeah. You can go.
It is fine.
Very good morning to you all. And we are just entering into the fourth session of the second international webinar series of Jesus College of Pharmacy, Ooty. And today we are going to have with us Dr. Sayan Datta Gupta as the speaker of the guest speaker of today's talk. And he would be talking on the artificial intelligence, the role of artificial intelligence in the natural product science. And we all know that natural product science is, artificial intelligence is the future of the world tomorrow, future of the world. And then the day will come without artificial intelligence, nothing will work like that. No, we are going to have, and it's a simulation of the human brain in terms of application. In the fields of pharmacy, in the field of medicine and all. I think our Dr. Sayan Datta Gupta definitely would be making the presentations, and we all know that computer aided drug design and the automation, the artificial intelligence in the field of automation, carless, that is driverless cars, all those things are going to come. And in the future, in the near future, the total world will be behind this artificial intelligence. And we are also having the in vitro docking systems and all. No, it's a part of the artificial intelligence. And we also have this computer-aided drug design system. And in the future, that voice reading is going to come when we talk in front of the door. When we say open the door will get open, close the door, door will close, like that. No, the artificial intelligence is going to play a very important role in the future. And we have our speaker, Dr. Sayan Datta Gupta from the KIST Korea Institute of Science and Technology. And on behalf of the department, on behalf of the JSS Academy of Higher Education Research, and on behalf of all the faculties and the research scholars, students of the JSS College of Pharmacy, I welcome you, sir, for this morning session. And I request our Divya Chaudhary, the research Deepika, research scholar of our department, to make an introduction about the today's speaker to the participants. Over to Deepika.
Morning everyone, and a warm welcome to all of you at the second International Pharmacognosy webinar series. Myself Deepika, research scholar in Department of Pharmacognosy, JSS College of Pharmacy, Ooty. I find immense pleasure in introducing our honorable speaker, Dr. Sayan Datta Gupta, presently working as a postdoctoral researcher at Natural Product Informatics Research Center, Korea Institute of Science and Technology, Gangneung, South Korea. Dr. S.T. Gupta completed his PhD in Pharmaceutical Sciences from JNTU, Hyderabad, and his M.Pharmacy in Pharmaceutical Chemistry from RGPV, Bhopal. He received grants from various funding agencies like DST and AICTE. In addition, he awarded the prestigious postdoctoral scholarship, Korea Research Fellowship for Outstanding Foreign Scientists from National Research Foundation of Korea. His area of interest are drug design and discovery, artificial intelligence-based discovery of natural products, HSP90 inhibitors as a senolytic agents for the treatment of cancer and neurodegenerative disorders. He has 15 years of research experience ranging from academics to industry and 34 publications in highly reputed national and international journals with 342 citations. We are very grateful to Dr. S.T. Gupta for accepting our invitation and marking his presence from his busy schedule to attend the international webinar. So I request Sir to proceed with his topic, artificial intelligence in the discovery of drugs from natural sources. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Doctor, please. Yes.
So good morning, everybody. I hope all of you are in India. So it's a morning there. It's afternoon here in Korea, actually. It's around 2:30. So anyhow, first of all, thanks for that kind introduction, and thanks for inviting me as a guest lecturer here. So let us start. I mean, maybe we can talk other things later. So the topic is artificial intelligence in the discovery of drugs from natural sources. Okay, so what I will, it is very difficult. It's to deal a topic like this because AI is completely new, and all of you, I have given a talk, I think, on AI in this year in various webinars in Bhopal and Andhra Pradesh, also some colleges. So it was. But how to apply it to the natural sources, because why I am working in Natural Product Institute here. It is exclusively Natural Product Institute. So how we are applying here, I can guide you, or I can just share my experiences. But it is very difficult to share exact research because some things are very confidential. So it is until even if it is published also, the AI related things are very difficult to discuss, like a synthetic or like a biological experiments. So, but I can to my best of my capability, I will just try to give a broad view how it is applicable to natural products or natural drugs, discovery of drugs from natural sources. So importance of natural products. This one slide, this one bar graph is enough to explain the importance. We may do this bar graph says about the number of approved drugs, US FDA approved drugs from natural sources. Okay, so this was published. I mean, they are regularly publishing from 2000. From 1994 onward. This group. This is a FDA group, actually, Food and Drug Administration, US FDA group, or NIH, you can say National Institute of Health USA group. And they have given this in this bar graph. You can see the number of approved drugs. We may do research on many things. Millions of drugs are being tested years after years, but ultimately how many are getting approved, that is important. So this is the statistics from, you can see, from 1st January 1981 to 30th September 19. They published it in 2020. That is the very recent we have. So you see the number of approved drugs was 1881, total number of approved drugs throughout this period. So per year, approximately 50, 60 or 100 drugs gets approved. Okay, and the approval rate has increased considerably if you consider from 1981 to now 2001 or 2021. So of course, at the beginning it was very less. Okay, it's only 2000 molecules, right? From almost a span of 30 years. So now in that, if you see you just see the chart. I have given B, N, NB, ND. These are the B are biological macromolecules. Like, you know, protein, peptide, peptidomimetic drugs are there. It comprises 18.4%. N is unaltered natural products, just as usual. The whole molecule is it is there. That is 3.8%. NB is botanical drug. You can see this green color, deep green color is botanical. Botanical drug means it is 0.8%. Recently, 6 or 7 drugs have been approved. It's just a raw mixture. The plant as a the extract. The plant extract is being approved for use. Generally, it is very rare. Total as a whole, the extract or a mixture of some leaves are directly being approved. Then natural product derivative 18.9%. I mean, the molecules isolated, and then from derivative synthetic drug 24.6. And then you can see this light green is natural product and the yellow is synthetic drug. Then a light orange, that is synthetic drug, NP pharmacophore. That means natural product. Pharmacophore has been derived from natural product. V is vaccine, you can see, and NM is mimic of natural product. Yeah, that is important. In some natural product, it is not the exact structure of natural product, but from there we get some idea. And this was introduced in 2012, this NM, this nomenclature. So, but it is mimicking the natural products, the activity of natural products. So idea of discovering this is, again, the backbone is natural product. If there was no natural product, then this type of drugs would not have come. So what we see is that direct involvement of natural products. So out of the approved drug, almost 50%, you see, 49.2%, there is direct involvement of natural products. Okay. So, and there is indirect involvement in vaccines. If you see, there are some plant vaccine and biological macromolecules, which I discussed before. There are some indirect involvement, like, you know, for plant vaccines, we are like in plant vaccines, they are trying to develop in Korea also. Some plant viruses they are isolating, and they are trying to elucidate immune response in human beings. So of course, so here also somewhat natural product plays a role, and biological macromolecules, peptidomimetic. Sometimes we need to express the protein, so we require bacteria. So there it is also, bacteria is nothing but a natural. It's a nature from nature, right? So if we see that the contribution of natural products is more than 50% actually, and even the synthetic drugs, all initially it was everything came from nature. If we would not have, nature would not have been there, we would not have been able to do anything. So I hope from the approved drug, this it is natural products has a huge importance or huge role to play. Now, natural product database, there is so how to start research in natural product. There are various ways we all are doing. We identify a plant, we know that, so I'm not going to that part because many of us have done. You take different extracts and then you identify the plant depending on if it was used by some tribes or it has been traditionally used. So we identify, so those things you all know, and we identify different fractions and then test and then isolate by chromatography. We separate the molecules, isolate, extract, and all those things we do. So how can artificial intelligence? So there, as such, artificial intelligence has very little role to play in if you are extracting or purifying or isolating a compound. But already we have a database of compounds. But again, when you are testing activity, we have some idea that it can active because it is used for as an antibacterial. Traditionally, we are using for antibacterial, or we do some antioxidant studies, or we do some anti-cancer studies. So, if it is used for some analgesic, so we test some analgesic parameters. So we know, but drugs can have, various of like Zidovudine. We know Zidovudine was initially discovered as anti-cancer, but ultimately marketed as antiretroviral. So in the COVID era, you must have all seen everybody is repurposing drug. Okay, repurposing of the drug is very important because you don't need to, the safety and efficacy of the drug. Yesterday, I think Dr. Mandal was saying about caprylolic acid. Caprylolic acid is sort of he was trying to test it on bacteria. It is already an antifungal. So this strategy is coming up now because it saves a lot of time in drug discovery. Now, if you go to, so that's why a natural product database is very, very important. So there are 120 natural product databases in which 98 are accessible. You can go there. I have already in the journal reference I've included, and 50 open source are there. Now, this University Friedrich Schiller, this from Germany, they compiled all the open access natural compounds in one single data set. That is collection of open natural products, and they named it Coconut. Very, very nice. Funny, but so collection of open natural products. The website is there. Around 400,000. That means around 4 lakhs. Non-redundant. Repeated. They checked it whether sometimes it may be repeated. Same natural product is maybe submitted by 2 persons from different parts of the world. So then redundancy comes. So it is non-redundant NPs, which makes it the biggest open collection of NPs available to this date. It was published in 2020. In my organization, KIST, where I am working, is in Gangnam Natural Products. We have more than 33,000 natural product molecules, which is increasing day by day. And this is also accessible free. So maybe some parts of the other world have also, many institutes may have doing, we are not so aware, but so this open source is there, and you can, anytime you can visit our KIST site, and anybody can get access. Anybody wants to collaborate and want the molecule, they can write a mail, and they will help you out. So summary is that this is a very big data, and it is increasing. If you just go to the website, so now say there are 4 lakhs of compounds. So 4 lakh compounds. So how can we need to evaluate them against various targets? So we can, it is, of course, it may be reported for one. It may inhibit the coronavirus target, it may be a cancer target or a bacterial target, anything. So we need to check, and it is just impossible to practically check all the molecules against all the targets. In fact, against 5 targets also. Even for one target, all 4 lakhs cannot be analyzed, right? Suppose it's an anti-cancer. So targets, and one is target specific and another is cell specific. So that also can be like if it is inhibiting a cancer protein, say kinases, but it should also kill the cancer cell. So that predictability that should also be there. That theoretical studies should also be there to proceed for further activity. It's not only the docking, what we say, but the cell-based assay, whether it will be effective in the cell-based assay or not, whether it will be able to kill finally the cancer cell or the microorganism in question, that is more important. So, for example, for the treatment of cancer, there are more than 400 targets possible. So, can we do it? It is not possible to biologically do all those check these things. And docking and QSAR softwares have their own limitations. So that all of you must have known you can read these articles I have just included, and I will discuss something later. So here the natural products to explore the activity of such a vast amount of natural products that is available with us. I mean, these molecules are isolated and given. Okay. We need, of course, big data. I think all of your big data science, all these are last 3 or 4 years we are hearing here and there. So this big data, handling of big data and analyzing this data, it is not possible with the simple softwares which we have nowadays. So we require some sort of artificial, there comes the picture of AI. So let me just brief about AI. AI is very simple, in a very simple language, if I explain, science of making intelligent machines, that is, which can automatically make decisions depending on the goal. This is very, very important. This line, depending on our goal, what we want, we will predict. It's not that something which is there already, like in software is an inbuilt thing. And of course, it should be able to handle big data. I will give you an example. For example, there is we all know calculator, right? So calculator, it is already programmed. We can't change anything. And big calculations cannot be carried out. Suppose divide 1.5 trillion by 3, 4, 5, 6. It won't. And it cannot be changed. So just I want to say, I want to make 2 plus 2 is equal to 6. Of course, we won't. But say I want to give my own input. I will explain this theory with the example in the further slides. So, of course, this is not a example of AI. It's just a machine. Now, say Amazon Alexa, the advanced Amazon Alexa, it is already programmed. It's a type of AI because big calculations can be carried out and wide range of information is available, starting from weather information to the country information, currency information, people information, anything. So many things are available in Amazon Alexa. Of course, we can't change the program. But since it is big data is being handled out here, we can call this as a AI, a simple way to say an AI example. Now, these are the terminologies. Briefly, we have all must have heard AI, machine learning, deep learning. So this, I think this picture says a lot. Machine learning is a type of AI and deep learning is a type of machine learning. Okay, it is more advanced. To explain you these things, let me give a very simple example. Then these 3 things will be clear. AI is a technique which AI is a common term. I hope you have understood that. Just applying intelligence. Machine learning is which uses statistical methods to enable machines to improve with experience. And deep learning, it makes computation of multi-layer neural network feasible. So what is this multi-layer neural network? I mean, so I will take a simple example. Suppose there is a torch, and suppose if you the code. So usually I think coding all of you are aware of. The code is dark. So if you say dark to the torch will switch on. Okay. Now, if I say go to the extreme left, if I say light is dim, the torch will not switch on because the torch switches on only if I say dark. Any other word or similar things, it will not accept. So this is known as machine learning. Okay. Now, if I say the light is dim and the torch switch on, this is known as deep learning. So more advanced. So it takes into consideration, it extract more features, that is feature extraction or multi-layer neural. So light is dim is similar to dark that the torch can identify. Then it is known as deep learning. Okay. So I hope I'm clear with this machine learning and deep learning. and overall, all the things are AI. Now, so this is the background of AI. Now, there are some drawbacks of when we are doing with docking. We of course validate the dockings. There are various ways of validating it, but in spite of validating, what happens? Docking in case of natural products, this is very natural products. You know, they have multiple. Usually, natural products are very complex and they have multiple atoms which can form. They are big molecules, you know, which can form hydrogen bonds. So, in one of our studies during my PhD, we use civil docking software, and you see this molecule on the left, which is having 2 OH, 4 OH rather, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this molecule, the docking score was 7.65. That means the more the docking score, the more good is the molecule, more potent. I mean, it is against a particular protein. Now, this molecule too, it is a very simple molecule. It was showing less hydrogen bond interactions because it has 2 OH groups and 1 COCH3, but here 4 OH groups, right? So more hydrogen bond, more docking score. Less hydrogen bond, less docking score. But practically, when we check the IC50 values in biological experiments, the high docking, it was found to be 2.50 micromolar. Of course, it is potent, less than 5, anything less than 5 we consider for further cellular activity. But here it was in nanomolar scale. So these type of discrepancies. Now, if I don't want whichever the hydrogen bond interactions I want, those I cannot change. My software is an inbuilt thing. I can't change nothing. I have to. I can't give my own input to the software. Please don't calculate. I can remove the hydrogen bond from the picture. That's a different issue. But I cannot say to the software, please don't compute the docking score not considering these OH groups. Or please compute with those only the binding with these 3 or 4 amino acids. So these were the things which were missing during docking studies. So of course there is extra OH group leads to extra H bond, and that leads to increased score. So these are some of the drawbacks which are obviously present with these docking softwares. So for example, you know, you see this here, sometimes excess hydrogen may be detrimental for activity and possesses agonistic potential. Okay, so lactose. If we just dock a lactose molecule, because it has more OH group, the docking score was 9. So of course lactose, and then it is not an inhibitor of that particular enzyme. And natural products have many functional groups. Chances of failure for docking is more. So chances of failure of docking in case of natural products is much more, because they are more structurally diverse, more structurally complex, and more functional groups are there. So what is the importance of artificial intelligence? If I just say whatever, so your softwares are like packed food. It is convenient but expensive. I think 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs they're asking now. I think many docking softwares are nowadays freely available also, but they are also being generated. They are trying to incorporate the changes, what I just said. And but again, they are taking the help of AI. For making a software, you require coding. Okay, without coding, that is AI, artificial intelligence, even for making softwares also. And artificial intelligence is like learning cooking. So I give you all the things, you cook according to you. So I think basic difference is this. So, you know, actually what the importance of artificial intelligence is that the research, I mean, whatever our research should guide the software. In fact, software should not guide the research. So when back in 2009 and 2010, almost 10 years back, when we first purchased the Schrodinger software and Siebel software, the software people used to say, these are the modules. So you can do these things. Now, if I don't want these things, some other things I cannot do. So it was basically our research was guided by software. We are not able to guide the software. So it is rather reverse in case of artificial intelligence. So how AI, what to apply in natural product screening to compute scores by considering the desired hydrogen bond, desired hydrophobic interaction, electrostatic interaction. So this you have to, whichever interactions are common, we have to do. But again, these type of, and QSA to fasten the process to handle big data, 2 million compounds. We did here around, all of you must be knowing about Campbell database. So there are approximately 2.1 million compounds. So we analyzed 2.1 million compounds in just a few seconds, maybe. The prediction is done. In less than a minute, we did that. So this is the power of AI. And the problem here is that we as a pharmacist, or we who have a knowledge about the medicine, how the drugs are acting, we can guide these things. The people who knows the AI, or like the bioinformaticians or the computer people, computer science graduates, or those who know, they don't have idea what to implement. But we know what to implement, but we don't know how to implement. So this gap is important. If we somehow come to know how to implement, then we will be in great demand. I mean, and that will act as a it will act as a miracle. So in the discovery of drugs. So these are some of the programs we used: Python, Perl programming, TensorFlow, Keras, R programming. Perl programming have been used in our institute in KIST here. Python we are doing now. Again, in fact, I always say about Python. Python has many modules to calculate the drug likeness. You can how you want to calculate drug likeness, physicochemical properties, everything can be done, and prediction of activity. So all are there. And there are some subsidiary requirements like Chemine, online service for analyzing and clustering small molecules. There are SMILES, So what is this SMILES? These an output, a structure. What is the problem? See, when we do in a software, docking, those who are aware with the docking softwares or QSAR softwares, they can accept the structure as it is in a mol file we call. But the problem with these Python or Perl, they cannot accept these things. We usually draw in ChemDraw, right? So and we save the file in mol file or CDX file. So they cannot accept this. So that is the major problem associated with this. Major problem which is associated with this programming language. So it needs to be converted into some form, that is computer language. So we need to talk to the computer in its own language. Like if we are in Korea, we need to speak Korean. If we are Russia, we need to speak Russian. Similarly, it is a computer language. So structure, now how to, usually we convert, there are many things are there, like Open Babel system is there, where you can convert and the structure into, so this is you, all of you know this famous drug. This is paracetamol. So paracetamol is converted into SMILE format, this one, and then it is in Excel sheet, and then you can download the Excel, you can upload the Excel sheet in the particular programming language system. And the advantage of this is that these programming languages are all free. These platforms are free of cost, open access. Anybody can use. No need to pay anything. That is the biggest advantage of this. You don't need to spend money like we spend on software. So these are, and we need to learn some coding. So this is some basic example of some Python language is there. For example, I have imported some anti-cancer drugs from Campbell website, and we go to so Campbell website. You have to in the Campbell website there is a option for saving the files in CSV format. You see here. So if you save the structures in CSV, by default it will come in CSV in SMILES format, and then you can import, let's say, pandas as these are the. It is not a simple import. There lies the problem with AI. That's why the bioinformaticians or computer people can do it much more. You cannot just how we upload in an email. It's not that simple. You have to always speak in the form of computer language. So, and they are very case sensitive. Just for example, this underscore you can see here. If the underscore becomes a dash, it won't come. So you have to write exactly the coding, exact dot, new, underscore, client, import, new, and pandas is a module. Pandas is a module for bringing anything in tabular form. Okay, there is NumPy is there. Okay, that is pie chart, I mean, which will bring in the form of charts, and so like that many modules are there in this Python programming language. Similarly, so one has to be aware, one has to learn the basics of the language, then it becomes easy. So I am just giving a so like that. See, when we bring you can see some coding here. This is the Python platform. Actually, Python again opens in Jupyter Notebook or Google Colab. Okay, so Google Colab, these are the platforms, right? These are all free. You can download Jupyter here, JUPYTER, you can see, and antibacterial drugs I have downloaded from Campbell. See the SMILES format and everything, heavy atom, inorganic flag, HBD, hydrogen bond donor, all the informations are available in the Python platform. And then you have to, after getting this, there are many methods of analyzing. For example, activity prediction. Suppose it is, 10th, for these cases, these are the codes actually. Okay. So inactive, active, and intermediate classes we have defined ourselves. So if it is like 10 micromolar, here it is in nanomolar scale, that's why it is 1000. So like, if it is more than 10 micromolar, it is inactive. If it is 10 to 1 micromolar, then it is intermediate. And if it is less than 1 micromolar, then it is active. So it depends on how you want to amend, and we can also get some scores like ranking. I mean, we can get some ranking of the molecules on a prediction of the activity. But yes, we need some data. The more amount of the data, the more it is for predicting the activity of unknown natural products. For example, if you are doing anti-cancer, there should be some anti-cancer activity of maybe 1,000, 2,000, millions of you can analyze, and then you can predict the activity. So at least the more the amount the data, the more accurate is the prediction. So the advantage is that it is cost effective. As I said, these are all free platforms. So we have, see, the database of natural product is also free, as I said you, and you all must have some of your own natural products with you all, and the platform is also free. The only thing is you have to learn, and that learning is also free. Actually, there are many all of you are aware of many learning platforms like edX, and so even our IIT Bombay X is there, our NEPTL is there in India. So there also something is there. So you can learn yourself, and then you can try to implement it in your field. Like there are many programs, Python for research, and it gets every day updated. So that's why I have not included, because last 6 months back I have uploaded the list, and then somebody called me last month and said the link is not opening. So actually they keep updating the courses, Coursera, right? So you can get there, and you can the most important is that some are paid, but that paid is also very less amount.
So we see that the plasma.
And so you can do it, and you can try the course for 1 month, and then if you don't like, you can just keep it. So there are many options, and easy to get funding. If you say that I know AI and I'll implement, you are saving a lot of money, because and there is some justification to the biological experimentation. Okay, and it is not dependent on softwares, of course, so you don't need to buy any expensive softwares, or right, and they are all in Windows platform, and of course in Mac, like in Apple. So both the platforms, they work out. So yes, only you should have some little bit of faster RAM, and that's it. You can implement yourself. If there is a will, there is a way. Like so you can just study yourself, or you can take help. There are many groups are there, collaborators are there. I mean, rather than collaborating, it is better to learn yourself and implement. So you can get help in learning also. So this is about the brief about AI, because exactly discussing the, I mean, it won't make sense further deeper. So I just gave a brief overview about natural products, the databases available, and how AI can be implemented. Okay, and coming back to my institute, it is an exclusive natural product institute. We have 3 branches in Korea, and generally each branch caters to one's need. Like our branch, we have in KIST Seoul, we have in KIST Gangnam, where I am now, and we have KIST Jeonbuk. So KIST Seoul is our main branch. This KIST Natural, we have again, this is exclusively for natural product research. So we have Natural Product Research Center. Further subdivision, you can see Natural Product Informatics Research Center and Smart Farm Research Center. So Natural Product Research Center, they isolate and extract, okay, from the natural products, and that's what I said. There are more than 33,000 molecules. So this is the chemistry, natural product chemistry part. Natural product informatics research, here the AI work is being done, and biological work is also done. So I am basically here in this department I am working now, and both in bit of AI and biological experiments, like cellular proteomics. Particularly my lab is more about proteomics. So these things are, the testing, activity testing, protein, these are done here. And Smart Farm Research Center, it is the best in the Asia actually, and second in the world. This particular Smart Farm research, they do a lot of like strawberries, tomatoes, and high quality tomatoes and vegetables they try to produce. So anybody, you see a natural product library is there. So I told you they are maintaining this library for long. It was established in 2006, and it has done remarkably well. Like you can see here, it is the world's most innovative research institution in 2019. In 2020, the results came 13th. It got the 13th position. The first was NIH USA, National Institute of Health USA, and it is the only one among the Korea, and I think second in the Asia, after one off in the Japan. So they are really working. We are really working, very hard since its inceptions in 2006 in the KIST Gangnam. So of course we have KIST. We have the spread. We have in India also a branch of KIST. You'll be very surprised. I don't know how much you are aware of Indo-Korea Science and in Bangalore. And as I told you, every KIST is particularly for one. There it is. Their machine learning work is done, but machine learning related to material science or physics, those parts are there in Bangalore branch. We have in Germany also branch, and a joint laboratory in Canada and USA. And all these other countries, they have like made some lab here, like KIST Vietnam, KIST Mongolia, except Australia. I think all the continents have been touched, including. So what I mean to say, international cooperation, they are very ready for international cooperations. In fact, we have like right now, out of if I leave aside my project, we are working on COVID-19 protease inhibitors. So if anybody wants to do anything, like if you have any molecule which you want to test against the protease enzyme, you can. They are searching. They did for a lot of people abroad. So they are always in a mood of collaboration. So maybe all of you can do some, maybe AI or maybe natural products extraction or natural product evaluation. So anybody can get in touch, and a collaboration will be a good one actually. First time I have seen that they asked me if anybody is there to collaborate. They always keep asking. So they're always ready to collaborate internationally. So this presence you can see, and this is the first research institute in Korea, and of course the best one. So anything you can, we can anytime collaborate with any related things. But yes, there should be some justification for checking the activity or evaluating a particular plant extract or anything. You'll be surprised to know that here they brought Brahmi, all of you know. So in our institute, they brought Brahmi from India and analyzed and did something and did some patent also, it seems, long back. So this is all about. This is my contact. Anytime if you have anything, I'll be happy to be in touch or help you anybody out. And that's it. Thank you. Any questions, please? Hope I'm able to finish in time. I don't know.
Thank you, Dr. Sayandatta Gupta, for having on the board for the fourth session of the second International Pharmacognosy webinar. It was an excellent presentation. We have it was like, brainstorming session for the, artificial intelligence in drug discovery from using the natural products. So it was actually, wonderful session. I would like to extend our warm gratitude towards you and warm thanks to you from our heart and Department of Pharmacognosy. And now I request participants, if you have any queries, kindly post your queries in chat box. So there is one question from the chat box. Deep Rajpal is asking, owing to the limitations of docking studies, as can be seen with examples of 2 drug molecules, don't you think that it is better to reconduct the research within left out molecules which were not considered just because of low docking score? Doctor, can you see the chat box even?
Yeah, I can see. Yes. So
Yes.
yeah, we did that actually. I mean, we did whatever we have predicted. I mean, we have our limitations. So there were around 100 molecules. So with the lower scores, we checked it and we published it also. So we did that actually. Yeah, we did that. Of course, we have to. We did that and we published in some journals long back. So we identified the amino acids which are important. So now, if we want to design some molecules, I can guide that take these amino acids into considerations and then predict the activity. That's in AI. I hope I'm able to answer him.
Okay, any other questions from the participants? Queries?
I have one question, sir.
Yeah, please.
I want to know whether your databases are accessible to TKDL, Traditional Knowledge Digital Library, when you have an unit in India also.
Okay.
So whether your databases are easily accessible to Traditional Knowledge Digital Library?
No, I don't think so. That they are accessible in the sense they are free, but you have to send a request. For you, are you talking about my institute, right?
Sir?
You are talking about the database of my institute, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, so that is there. Or here, there. I don't think so. It is available. I mean, they don't make it in that way accessible, but. If anybody you ask, you will get an. I mean, you can get an access if you just request. There is some format. So if you do that, you can get an access. And there is, as I shown you in my slide, Coconut is there. So you can just go through this. This is also freely accessible things. A lot of around 4 lakhs molecules are there.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I have one doubt, sir.
Yeah, we have one more doubt from the research scholar of department, Divya.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, Coconut Natural Database is similar to Zinc database, sir. Like here we can get only commercial data products or what, sir?
Yes.
Any comment?
Sir, is Coconut Natural Product Database is similar to Zinc database, sir? In Zinc database, we can get all like metabolites in synthetic and natural database, no, sir? This is also same or something different, sir?
It is same. It is Gene database is like both synthetic and everything will be included, but this is exclusively for natural products.
Okay.
That is the only difference. I mean, and many Gene finger databases compounds are obviously here. So of course the metabolites are also there. What you are saying is that is also correct. If any compound is isolated, and has shown some sort of activity, then it is there.
Okay, sir.
And coconut is just a 4 lakhs. If you want to further access, like we have KIST, so similarly 98 are accessible, right? So other databases also you can try, and you can see more amount. I mean, there are I don't know the exact numbers, but it will be definitely in more. Whatever you are seeing 4 lakhs, it will be double of that. So like only from our institute we have 33,000, right? So yes, to be precise to your answer, yes, metabolites are there.
Okay, sir.
In fact, for our libraries also.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Sayan. I'm very happy to say that in his very busy schedule, and Professor Danbal sir, principal of our JSS College Pharmacy, has joined the fourth session of our today's international webinar. I welcome sir to have a small discussion about today's session. Sir will address the gathering.
Good morning, sir. I am Dr. Danpal, principal of JSS College of Pharmacy, Ooty. I had to thank you for being with us and coming on board to engage this lecture as a part of the international webinar series organized by the Department of Pharmacognosy of our institution, which is led by Dr. V. Doreswamy as the head of the department. And so this program is wholly initiated and being organized by Dr. Shankar Kalakutla for the benefit of our internal faculty members, students, and also for the external candidates. I'm happy that there are more than 500 candidates across the country shown interest and registered for this program. And also the good number of the speakers, including you, Dr. Sayan Datta from South Korea, have been identified as a resource person, okay, to engage the lectures. And so I'm confident that all the registered participants will make use of this great and rare opportunity to update their knowledge in the field of their natural products and also the artificial intelligence. So with this, on behalf of the university, and also on my personal behalf, and also on behalf of the staff and students of JSS College of Pharmacy, Ooty, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Dr. Sayan Datta, who is the speaker of this today's session. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. And now I request Divya Chowdhury to give vote of thanks, to propose vote of thanks for today's session.
Sir. Honorable dignitaries and guests, respected faculty members and all participants, on behalf of JSS College of Pharmacy, Ooty, its entire fraternity and the organizing committee, I feel immense pleasure to take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to our eminent speaker, Dr. Sayan Datta Gupta, Korea Institute of Science and Technology, South Korea, who spared the time from his busy schedule to grace this virtual international webinar on artificial intelligence in the discovery of drugs from natural sources. Sir, it was really innovative and informative. We enjoy a lot for your session, sir. I take this opportunity to specially express my deep gratitude regards to our beloved principal, sir, Dr. S.P. Danbal, and Dr. B. Doreswamy, sir, head Department of Pharmacognosy, and respected faculty members for always encouraging us and for your unfaltering support. Especially, I would further extend a hearty thanks to Dr. Shankar, sir, for organizing such a valuable and informative webinar. My sincere gratitude also goes to the MPharm students and my co-research scholars, and my deep sense of appreciation and thanks to all the participants across the country and outside the country who digitally connected with us and attended the webinar with great enthusiasm and made it successful. Once again, I thank you all. We hope you can join us again in future for upcoming webinars and all. Thank you.
Thank you, Divya, for proposing vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank you, Dr. Sayan, for accepting my invitation at the last minute. Still, you made such a great, impact in the scope of our relevant to our, theme of the concept of this seminar. And I feel immensely pleased to have you on board, Doctor. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Shankar. Actually, it was last minute, but actually, last week I was on protein expression studies. So if we start one Friday, it ends next Friday. Yes. So when you called, I was in the middle of the experiment. Sorry, I could not. I mean, immediately I cannot respond, I think. So anyhow, but I thought I will just attend this because it's a learning for me. It's always nice to interact with people from good institute like JSS and reputed institutes like you are already. I think you have got NIRF ranking also 7th, I guess.
That's a great
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yes.
Moved from 9.
Yeah, move from 9th to 7th.
Yeah, 9 to 7th. Yeah. So it's always a pleasure for me also. And as I told you, my institute, they are already always in a collaboration mode right now for COVID-19. I mean that for that virus, there is a protein known as MPRO. So MPRO inhibition studies, that is the main protease. So they are looking if anybody has anything to be done, we can do it gratefully for you, including the antiviral assay. If it succeeds in the enzyme inhibition assay, we can go for the cell viral assay. So that cell viral assay actually it can be done here in any, I mean not anywhere, because it can be done. We have our own contact. So if you have anything from natural products, because ours is a natural product institute, and if you have something from nature, they will be very happy to, do those things. But there should be some justification for doing those studies. Like already some sort of thing has been done, then we'll be happy to collaborate.
Yeah.
So anything can be done here actually. I have just given an example. Other than these also, if you have anything, we have got SafeBox here. I hope all of you are aware of that. SafeBox instrument, in which we can, depending on the various fractions, can be collected at a time. It's automated. We no need to, generally we do, first we do the polar solvent and non-polar solvent. And so those things, it is in an automated, it comes around 6 crore Indian currency, if we see the cost. So we have that as one of the centers in Korea. It is not present in everywhere in Korea also. So if you have some plants, you have to isolate, and it will isolate in fractions within, some days or months of work can be done in days. So that is one part. Other than that part, there is AI part also, we can collaborate. Other than that part, we have biological experiment part we can do. So if you have something, we can always ready to, I think Dr. Shankar visited my place when he was in Korea, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, he was there for 2 or 3 days.
Yes,
So I
yes.
explained him that time the things which are going on.
Yes.
But unfortunately, I could not take him inside the lab because due to COVID, the outsiders were not allowed. Still, it is not allowed. But he has seen my lab from outside and he has some idea.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'll be very happy to, if you have anybody, and sometimes there is an Indo-Korea joint proposal comes out from DST. So maybe that also anybody can try and apply.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor, for explaining your briefing about the research activities, what you are doing at your institute. And with permission from principal, sir, I would like to say that we have a good research group from natural products, and the research scholars and PG scholars are working on natural products as well. So if possible, we will have a MOU with your Korean Institute of Science and Technology.
Sure.
Permission from the principal, sir. And
Sure,
we'll have.
I'll be very happy to coordinate.
Yes, sir.
You let me know exactly what you want, or with time, I will be very happy.
Yes,
Dr. Sayan, we appreciate your invitation and just to have collaboration with us. In fact, our center, the JSS College of Pharmacy, has been identified by the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, as the TIFAC Center of Relevance in Access to Herbal Drugs. Okay, for the last 20 years, we have this banner under the Department of Science and Technology. A lot of consultancy activities and also a lot of research activities. Okay, with the great outcome of the patents and the publications is in progress. And a good number of the research activities on the natural products, is still going on. And it would be better, if we have some collaborative studies strengthening our research activity with you, and also it's going to be dual benefited. Like you are also going to get benefited, we are also going to get benefited.
Yes.
Sharing the resources and also the manpower and the expertise, everything. And as Dr. Shankar suggested, he's having the close association with you, and it would be better to have an MOU with your organization. Okay, we are open for that because we have more than 50 MOUs with the national and international universities and also the industries. Okay, and also a lot of consultancy activities also in progress. and the TIFAC, and also the Center of Relevance. We have another center that is CADRAT, Center for Advanced Drug Research and Testing. In that also, we get a lot of commercial labs, for the product development and standardization. So such things, we can involve, and then, we can come out with the good number of the publications, joint publications as well. Okay, we appreciate your interest, and also we look forward to have the tie-up with you. Okay, Dr. Sankar, I will have a personal discussion with him, and also we can have it in the near future. And also, if time permits, during your next visit to India, okay, you are welcome to our campus to address our students, and also to interact with the faculty members, and also to see our facilities and how we are going to strengthen our relationship. We can discuss in more. So I actually warm welcome to you now, Sophia.
Thank you very much. Definitely, I'll come. It is always a pleasure to visit this type of institutes.
Thank you.
So I'll definitely come, and let us work, Dr. Shankar, and we will do something and let you know.
Sure.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sayan. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for elaborating your research facilities, what you are doing, and thanks for giving the opportunity for the research scholars, and open forum for the even Indo-Korea fellowships. Whenever there is an opportunity, whenever there is an open call for projects, please let us know. Our students, those who are pursuing Informa, they can apply for the joint Indo-Korea projects as well. Brain KBR is there, Korea Brain Research Center, like that. If such type of opportunities, please let us know.
Sure.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you all.